Hi, my name is Alex Linde, and today I'll be showing you how to configure and set up the Windows Cloud Agent to add MFA for Windows machines, and how to set up offline access so that your users can continue to log into the machine even if they're not connected to the internet or for whatever reason the CyberArk service is unreachable. We're going to do this in a couple of steps. First, we're going to log in to our administrative portal, and we're going to set up the administrative portal to allow connections with the Windows Cloud Agent. And secondly, we will download and install that agent on a device and get it working. So first, we're going to go to Endpoints page. We're going to go to Enrollment Codes, and we're going to add a new enrollment code, and you don't need to change anything. You can just click Save, and then copy that code. This will be used when setting up the Windows Cloud Agent on a specific device. Secondly, the Global Endpoint Permissions page allows you to add some individuals. It's a good idea for you to add some administrators into this page, and that will make sure that even if you don't assign correct permissions to any specific individual for them to access the Windows Cloud Agent, you'll always have at least a few folks that will be able to log in. By default, people are not allowed to log in, so you have to give them explicit rights to be able to log in. In this case, I've given that right to Mike at cyber.com, who's my domain admin, and a few other users as well. The next step is to go under Authentication and create a new profile if you haven't already done it. I've already done it, so I'm going to go into it. I called my profile Computer MFA, and this profile will be used to log into the Windows Cloud Agent. For challenge 1, I've set it up to use a password, and for challenge 2, you can do whatever factors that you have available. You have to make sure that these factors are set up for your users. So for example, if you want to allow text message and email, then you need to make sure that your users have a mobile phone number and an email address in their profiles. Otherwise, of course, they will not be able to use those factors. And then you can save that profile. The next step is to go under Roles and create a new role that you can call something like Windows Users and give it a description. And then under Members, add the users that you would like to be able to log in to these machines. In my case, I'm going to add my 2 test users, which is Mike. And then I'll also add user John. And then we can go ahead and save. The next step is to go to your policies, find your default policy, and we'll make a couple of changes. Under Endpoint Policies, we go under Common Settings, Agent Settings, Lock Screen, and here you can configure a grace period so that if a user logs in and then locks their screen, they will not have to do MFA a second time. I've given it 10 minutes because I use this mostly for demo purposes, but you can go all the way up to 4 hours. And then go ahead and save that. And then go under Authentication Policies, Endpoint Authentication, enable the authentication policy controls, and choose the profile that you configured earlier. In my case, it's called Computer MFA. And you can also allow users without a valid authentication factor to log in as well if you choose to. And then go ahead and click Save. Next, we will switch to our virtual machine, or in your case, it may be a real machine, where you want to install the agent. And we will log in so that we can download the agent on this machine. I'll scan my QR code again. We'll head to the Downloads page, and then we will download the Windows Cloud Agent. And now let's install our Windows Cloud Agent. We'll go ahead and go to the MSI file and start the installation process. For the tenant URL, we'll put our tenant. For the enrollment code, we'll paste the enrollment code we generated earlier. And then over here in the optional parameters, we'll say -L and Windows Users, which specifies the role of Windows users as having the rights to log in to this particular machine. So the people who will be able to log in now will be anyone who's within the Windows users group, as well as anyone in the global endpoint permissions that we put in as a backup to make sure that at least some administrators will be able to log in. Then we'll click Next and click Install. And now we're going to restart the machine to apply the installation. Now that we have successfully installed the agent, we see on the login screen mike@cyber.com. When we try to log into this, it's going to say connecting to the authentication service. We'll be required to put in our password. And now we're going to be asked for our authentication method. In this case, we'll choose SMS and have a text message sent over to our phone. We can check our text messages and then we can approve the request, which will then allow us to log in to the machine and get us going. And now let's set up offline access. In the event that the machine goes offline and doesn't have internet access, or perhaps the CyberArk identity service is unreachable for MFA verification, we really want to make sure that the user doesn't get locked out. So that's what offline access is for. First, we're going to sign in as Mike. We can choose text message again for MFA verification. And then we can go ahead and approve the request so that Mike is able to log into his user portal. The first step is Mike will go into his account and set up his regular Oath OTP code by scanning the QR code over here. Now we're already logged into the CyberArk Identity app on our mobile phone, so we'll go under the passcode section, add a new passcode, and we're going to scan this QR code. This is going to require us to pass another MFA factor, in this case just a password. And once we do that, we can now see that the bottom code over here, 511969, is the one for mike@cyber.com. So this is his regular online OTP code. And now we're going to go under the passcode section, and we see here that we have the computer we just added to the Windows Cloud Agent. So we select that computer, EPM WKS01, and we say set up offline OTP. This is going to give us another QR code to scan, and then we'll scan this QR code, which will allow us to add the offline OTP code. And the way you can tell the offline ones apart from the online ones is that this one, it says mike@cyber.com, but it also has the name of the workstation that we're going to be logging into. Now that all this is done, let's test our work. First, we'll test the online code. We're going to sign out and we're going to log in again, but this time, instead of using text message as our MFA factor, we're going to use the Oath OTP. In this case, we'll be prompted for the password again. We'll choose the Oath OTP client. And all we need to do here is just tap on mike@cyber.com, and it will automatically send that code into the session because it knows that there's something expecting an MFA for Mike, and Mike will automatically be logged in for online access. And now let's go ahead and sign out. We're running all this in VMware Workstation, so we can simply right-click on this particular VM, go to Settings, select the network adapter, and just simply turn it off, which will essentially remove network access to this appliance. As you can see, it's got a little red circle, so we're not getting internet. And now when we log in as Mike, it will ask for his password again. but now it's asking for the offline one-time password. Because we now don't have access to CyberArk, we cannot simply tap the code, but we do have the code over here. And it's about to expire, so I'll wait until the next one. Type it in, hit enter. And the codes are kept in sync with one another on the computer and on my mobile phone, so that Mike is able to log in again, even though he's completely offline and has no access to CyberArk identity for the MFA verification. Thank you very much for joining us for this quick demo of CyberArk.